answer to any question. He also always knows how a situation is going to play out before anybody else involved in that situation does. And when he's going to do something, like try a case or run a marathon or be part of a foundation, he always gives it 100%. So on the surface, it appears like he's perfect, but my job tonight is to tell you that he's not perfect. He makes mistakes just like the rest of us. So Brandon, Justin, and I talked recently about how we actually really enjoyed those days when we were growing up when we got to stay home and follow my dad around the house and do yard work, other than weeding. But there was one task that we never liked, which was staining the garage door. We never liked staining the garage door, and we never really knew how my dad felt about it. But one day, after we spent the whole day staining the door, my dad left it about halfway up so that it could dry, and he ended up backing up into it and taking off the entire door. So the next weekend, we had to stain the door all over again. And as a kid, and still today, my dad always says that it's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them and you never do them again. You never do it again. So the next time he hit the garage door, he was pulling into it. For those of you that know him, something else that's really special about him is that he has had every single job in the books. So he's been a florist, he's been a paper boy, he's been an electrician, he's been a chef, he's been a fireman, and you name it, he's at some point in his life had that job. And we always talk about how he still puts those skills he learned in all those jobs to the test these days. So, for example, he put his electrician skills to the test a few years ago when he went out and bought my family a generator. And then he put his fireman skills to the test when he left said generator a little too close to our porch and our porch on fire.
It's a little bit awkward because when they asked us to speak, it wasn't made clear to me that my father was being honored for something tonight. I thought this was more of a roast. So I spent all this time researching jokes, lawyer jokes on the internet, and now they seem completely wasted. Well, just by a show of hands, how many people here are lawyers? Well, I'm not going to read any of those. And I will find a shredder later. Instead, I'll tell just a quick story about my dad. Well, more about me, but he'll come around in the end. So while I was in my later teens, 17, 18, 19, somewhere around there, I went to get my hair cut at this guy who always cut all of our hair growing up. And I can tell by the look on my dad's face that I've never told this story before, which is perfect. So the same guy who's a little bit crazy, he's always got all these conspiracy theories and, you know, whatever. I was older and he was talking to me the whole time, and I was really not caring what he was talking to me about. I was giving him yeses and nos, kind of nodding, you know, whatever. And then finally, you could tell he's getting a little frustrated. And he stopped cutting my hair and he looked at me and he goes, "You know what? You're just like your father. You're kind of an asshole." He said, I know you're going to be successful just like him because you have just the right amount of asshole in you. And it's the highest compliment I've ever received. Thank you, Dad, for teaching me to be the right amount of asshole.
All right, so I have the hard job because I have to do all the serious stuff. So, so when we got asked to speak here, and we were, asked to speak about our father, and I sat down and I read through the description of the award, and then read through the description that's in the booklet, and it listed all of the things that he's done and everything, that's gone on, and then I, heard Andrew and Bob talk about everything that he's done. all the stuff he's done to give back to the community, I look back, and the interesting thing was that none of it was really surprising to us, because no matter what was going on or what he was involved in or doing, he always made sure that we were all involved with him and a part of it. And he always made sure that we were right out there working with him and doing whatever it was. So if he was organizing a charity bike ride, we were out there painting lines, which turns out the paint you use doesn't come off cars. If he was organizing a program for children with special needs for soccer, we were out on the field in the early days volunteering and working with the kids. And he made sure that we understood why we were out there and what we were doing. And it was just looking back on all of this, it was interesting that it all seems like it all kind of happened yesterday. And it's all been a long time coming. The most surprising thing to me, though, as I looked through all that and thought about all the stuff that he's done and everything that's gone on, was that as I sat back and looked at everything, it came to me that through all that and everything that he did, he never missed any one of anything that any of us ever did. I couldn't come up with whether it was a t-ball game, which I'm sure were really riveting, a Little League game, a swim meet, a soccer game, a crew race, which is also a great spectator sport, if anybody's wondering, or any sort of school event that we were involved in as a child. He never missed, any of it. And as I look back on all the stuff that he was able to accomplish, I noticed that in fact it kind of worked the other way. Because he was able to show us all through his example that no matter how busy you were or what was going on, there was no substitute for hard work. And that he made sure to show us that no matter how much you had going on, there was always time to give back to the community and to give back to the community that we lived in to make it a better place. And most importantly, he always made sure that we knew that no matter what we did, that we had to have fun. So we love you, Dad, and we're very proud of you.